Hello, trading has closed on January 13th, 2020. Let's go over our calls. We had mixed signals. Commonest thing would be a gap and a prompt move outside Friday's range. We had a gap, and without any meaningful correction, we did move promptly outside Friday's range. It's good enough for me. Had a target of 32.7563. That printed resistance at the target. We said dropping down all day on a Friday almost always carries through into Monday, and if we gap up instead, it was quite positive, and that's what happened. Here were our calls. So either we gap up to a new high. Well, we gapped up, hit a new high without any meaningful pullback, and we said gapping up smartly was quite bullish. Tomorrow's pattern has the early high. Come back to that in a second. During the day we got an ultimate sell signal. We got the minimum. Almost always we get more than the minimum. We get more than the minimum and ultimately undercut this low, but you don't really have to, and it doesn't have to happen tomorrow. Here we got an ultimate buy signal, ultimate sell signal. Typically when that happens, you go nowhere for a while, so this drop doesn't stick, the rally doesn't stick, and you come back into the reference bar and wait a period of time before you make your move. Here's what I have as the count. Now, if this is wave 3, which I think it is, and it's really impulsive, it's at least as long as wave 1, the vast majority of the time. And if that happens here, it will put us into 3460s, quite a ways to go. Here was January 8th, this big drop, a huge volume spike. Volume spikes in futures are associated with market lows. Oh, this is pretty positive stuff. So, Tuesday's pattern has the early high. Absent an early rally of size, it tends, does not require, but tends to be a down day with a low in the final hour of trading. But even though there's an early high and a late low, we can still trend up. If that happens, it should lead to further gains. Today was a rally from the open into the close. It typically is followed by further gains. Gapping up after this dropping all day Friday typically leads to more gains, and I look for higher prices tomorrow. As always, if we gap down smartly, it kills the call before the open. I'm not predicting we close higher, just that we trade higher, but closing higher wouldn't surprise me at all, because this is pretty positive action. We do have a hops and close, that being a close at the high of the day, so 50-50 chance of gapping it down, because it's an all-time high. Of course, that means 50-50 chance we won't. And futures are up as I'm recording this, but that doesn't tell you how we'll open tomorrow. Now, I know many sentiment indicators are compatible with the top here. My humble opinion, when a real top occurs, it's unlikely so many people are going to be calling for one. Doesn't mean we go up in a straight line. But as of now, I think we can rally at least into the mid 3460s, but just be aware my long-term calls are less precise than my calls for the next day. I just take things one at a time. For me, this was negative action Friday. It was invalidated by today's rally right from the get-go. And when that happens, I think the rally's going to last a bit longer. Tomorrow's pattern has the early high, but I think higher prices are coming regardless of what happens tomorrow and regardless of the sentiment indicators, which will work one of these days, but that they're not really precise market timing tools. That's today's call.